Hello and welcome to Let's Dance with Charlotte Elizabeth. That's me. So, this podcast is going to cover everything from dance, health, fitness. I will include how to prepare for your first dance for your wedding or using that kind of scenario for special occasions. There will be planning hen parties and ideas for planning hen parties, but the main focus of this podcast is dance. I am the owner of Feel the Beats UK, and I'm going to get you all moving. So let's get on with the show. Hello, and welcome back. So there's been a little bit of a pause to the podcast again. And sometimes there will be because I only want to share this podcast when I have something of value to say, and I don't want to just keep repeating different topics in different ways. So if I'm not sure what to say, there won't be a podcast. But other than that, they are going to be weekly. Now, the reason this time for the pause is because I've been finishing my book. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this previously, but I was in the process of writing a book about preparing for your first dance. And guess what? It is now live. It is now published. I am now a published author. The in-person book launch at the time of recording this is on the 25th of October. So if you're watching this after or listening to this after, book launch has already happened, but you can still buy your book. I will obviously put the link in the show notes for the launch event and for buying your book. So if you are local to me and you want your book signed, come to the launch. Otherwise, just buy from Amazon. But this has been a really interesting process for me. I always say that there's more to your first dance than actually the dance, and that your first dance isn't about the dance. First dance is giving you confidence to step out onto the dance floor, to be in the spotlight for that 2 to 3 minutes. But actually having lessons is not about learning a Strictly Come Dancing style routine. 9 times out of 10, it's knowing where to hold, where to put your feet, because if your partner's got a big poofy dress, there's a limit to how close you can get. It's learning to move together and getting to listen and feel in tune to each other. So even if you are just swaying, that's okay. It doesn't have to be choreographed. And in fact, my book title is very tongue-in-cheek for a purpose. So I've called it The First Dance. Don't worry, awkward swaying isn't your only option. So many times I see in wedding groups, I'm just going to say that again before I carry on. Don't worry, awkward swaying isn't your only option. I see it so many times in wedding groups, couples that they've picked their song, they're feeling really nervous, they're feeling really anxious, but they're just going to sway and wing it because, well, they don't know what else to do. They don't realize that there are people out there, like myself, who can come to them at home or a venue of their choosing and do some lessons. And like I say, it could simply be, how do we hold each other? How do we move together? How does this flow with the song we've chosen? But in writing this book, I realized, even for me, there was stuff I didn't know. So I looked into the history of the first dance. So I looked into where like the traditions come. I'm just going to find it in the book. I'm really sorry for that alert that's just decided to ping its head off at me. So I've delved into the history of where it even come from, and it dates back to the royal courts of Europe in the 17th and 18th centuries. So we used to do ballroom dancing and dancing as couples at parties, and it was always the beginning of an evening. Like, look at Bridgerton, for instance. All of the dancing, and that inspired them to go, oh, I want to do that. Well, that's where it came from, because as a society, that's what we used to do. We'd get up and dance, whether we knew someone or not, we'd just be able to follow. But then as a society, we don't really do that anymore. And that's where this whole kind of awkward swaying has kind of come from, because we don't just put music on and dance around the house together. We don't slow dance anymore, kind of. And that's where couples go, oh my God, I'm really scared. And that's okay. So I give you a little bit of a history lesson, but I also then help you to think about your dress and your suits. If you've bought them before you buy my book, I give you some tips on what you can do. But if you haven't bought them and you buy my book, Perfect. When you're going for your fittings, you can consider how easy is it to move? How easy is it to sit, to walk? And if you then go, actually, I want to be able to dance, how easy is it? It helps your buying decision process. So that you're not then really struggling when you come to have lessons and find that your lovely off the shoulder dress with a cap sleeve restricts your arm movement and you can't really lift your arms. So if you were thinking, I'm going to do my dance with my arms around my partner's neck, and you can't actually lift your arms to there, you're struggling. And this is why you'd have a lesson, because a lesson would tell you what movement capability you've got within your outfit and how to adapt so that it doesn't look, oh, that just looks really uncomfortable. We've all been there, myself included, where you're standing there going, oh, this just looks a little bit. And that's not me from a judgy place of, ah, they should have come to me and I'd have kind of helped them kind of thing. Sometimes maybe. But no, it's a special moment. You want those memories to last a lifetime. And in having lessons, you will get those memories. It's an extra part of the wedding planning process. And I always say, put as much thought into your first dance as you have the rest of your wedding. It shouldn't be forgotten. And that's where the awkwardness comes in, because it's not thought about until it's too late. So I get you to think about your outfits. I get you to think about your song choice. Some love songs aren't actually about love. Put that one out there. Some love songs are not about love. They're about death and they're about heartbreak. And do you really want to dance to that on your wedding? I give you some how-to steps that you can follow. So you get to see me and my partner teaching you some basic steps. And at the book launch, I'm going to teach a couple of those steps. So you've got a little how-to guide. There's a little quiz to work out what style you are, with a bit of a follow-up sequence kind of to help guide you. There's a checklist. There is so much that I have packed into this to really help you, because I appreciate that not everyone can afford lessons. Not everyone wants lessons, but also it is okay to not have a first dance as long as you have thought it out. If you're saying, I'm not having a first dance because I'm going to feel awkward, sorry, I'm going to make you rethink. What else do we have in here? Music, finding a teacher or not, if you want to edit your music, styling it out, considering where your guests are going to be at a different moment, so that the last thing you do is put your arm out and you've whacked a guest in the face, or your photographer, or your videographer. Common mistakes and why they're okay. Final prep, the morning after, and other places you can connect with me. So I'm just going to read through some of the common mistakes, because that was quite a fun one. That was quite a fun one to go through and be like, actually, these don't really matter. And like I say, got a book. So common mistakes and why they don't matter. So we stepped on each other's toes. It happens, whether you've had lessons or not. You're probably going to step on each other's feet because the nerves get the better of you. It's fine. And honestly, as long as you don't pull a massive face, no one's going to know. I mean, it happens to me sometimes in teaching, and they're like, oh, I stepped on his foot. I'm like, did you? Didn't know. We forgot the next move. Again, completely natural. I forget my own choreography all the time, and I deliberately build in pauses to help couples so that they go, what was that next move? Their brain can catch up, and then they carry on. It's okay. We went the wrong way. It happens. Your brain suddenly decides that, oh no, it should have been that way. As long as you stay connected and you are able to pick it up between you of where you should be, doesn't matter. And it makes it more natural. If it was completely perfect, not an error in sight, as great as that would be, it makes you human. So it's okay. You're bound to make mistakes or go the slightly wrong way. Our timing was off. Again, the nerves, they can make you start a bit sooner because you're like, oh, let's get it over with, or oh, that was the bit, or whatever. So my tip, have your DJ on standby so that you can give them a signal and they can get your guests to join in if you're like, I really can't remember what I'm supposed to be doing. We laughed halfway through. Now, I'm sorry, that's not a mistake. That's human. And I really hope you are having a laugh during it, or that you're singing along and you're smiling and everything else. I don't want you to be this kind of robotic, we're doing a dance and da da da. No, have fun with it. You are human. Makes your guests more likely to want to come and join you. Um, Again, this one's not really a mistake, but we didn't do anything fancy. And I really don't know where this misconception has come with the first dance. If you're having lessons, it has to be fancy because it really doesn't. Um, it can literally be swaying to the music in time with a bit of rhythm and just looking a little bit less like a robot. Still a perfect first dance. Still gives you the picture moments, still gives you the memories. And if you add in a little move or two from the book, great. If not, also great. But yeah, I don't know where this whole, well, I do. Social media. TikTok, Reels, whatever. A lot of it's American, where they will go and have lessons because they just don't question it because they want to show off. You don't have to. Us Brits don't like showing off. So don't do the fancy because honestly, I prefer the dances where they are just them, connected in the moment, maybe doing some sort of choreography rather than just swaying. Because as much as I'm saying awkward sway is not your only option, I appreciate some couples do want to just sway. Um, but yeah, you don't have to do anything fancy. And then my final thought. The people at your wedding aren't watching to critique you. They're watching because they love you. If something goes a bit off, it's not a failure. It's just a part of your story. Those little things are often the ones you'll remember the most. So you will go wrong. You will have a little bit of a giggle. You might step on each other's toes. You might get your timing a little bit off. And that's okay. As long as you have done the prep beforehand. If you're just winging it, this is your calling to think about your first dance. So I'm gonna keep it really short and sweet, but I just wanted to share that my book. I have a book. And like I say, I will put the link in the show notes. So if you are a 2025 couple and you're getting married in the latter part of the year and you haven't thought about your first dance, reach out. Let me help. And if you're a 2026 and beyond, you have got plenty of time to think, but don't leave it too late. Because I always say, it's never too early to consider your first dance, to book your lessons in, but it can always be too late, as Kayla will tell you in the foreword of the book. So have a fantastic day. Go and buy the book. And remember, awkward swaying is not your only option. Goodbye.